Welcome back to Bay Area Focus. Please welcome Stephen Dinan, author of Sacred America, Sacred World, Fulfilling Our Mission in Service to All. That is a mouthful there. Tell me about this book and what inspired you to write it.
Well, we're clearly in a time in which politics is tearing us apart. So this is very much a book about how politics can bring us together, both in a sense of celebrating what's great about America and honoring the beauty of what our history, but also a vision for where we can go from here and begin to heal some of these partisan divides. And so that's why I talk about Sacred America, Sacred World, because I really feel that when we come from a stance that everyone and everything is sacred, that we respect the divinity in all people and all things, it leads to a different way of engaging politics, which is less about combat and more about like finding those higher potential solutions where we can actually create together. So right now we're stuck in just warfare mode of like power over the other and try to dominate the other, and it's splitting apart families and communities and businesses. You know, there's a statistic recently around something close to 50% of people would be very concerned if their child married somebody of the opposite political party. And so that's skyrocketed in the last decades. And so we have media and all these forces that are essentially separating us. But the truth is that we need all political perspectives to evolve a more enlightened America.
But the division, it seems so strong nowadays. So do you think that this can really happen? Something
it does.
It
does, and it takes actually part of the reason there's a strong spiritual focus to the book, and in many ways it's about bringing a spiritual practice into how we engage politics. And some of that is to recognize, first of all, that whatever perspective somebody has, it's worth understanding that from the inside. And so when we have a reaction to somebody of a different political position, oftentimes there's a part of ourself that we've abandoned or a part of reality that we've denied or suppressed. And so our reactions to other political positions can be a signal to where we need to grow and integrate more.
So is it similar to saying, okay, I don't agree with what they said, but this is the reason they feel this way?
I'll give a specific example. When Sarah Palin was the vice presidential candidate, she was really like nails on a chalkboard for me. Like I was, couldn't even stand watching her on the TV. But then I realized instead of just continuing to rehearse that, I instead read both of her books. And what I found was that actually I could come to the place of really respecting more of who she is and the values that came out of growing up in the frontier in Alaska, and the kind of like some of the down home values and the kind of the plain spokenness even. Like it was similar to some of my own upbringing in Minnesota, and I actually started to really appreciate her in different ways. And I had a dream where we had a really sweet hug in the dream. And it was like a sign that, on some level, like I stopped warring with that aspect and began to see that she has her place in the larger scheme of things. And I may not share her political positions, but I can respect her as a person and not go to war with her politically. And so I think each of us has to do a bit of that, because politics is a charged arena. It's about decisions about our lives and what we can and can't do and where we're going and where we're spending our money. So they're charged decisions. So it's important that we figure out how to reach across those divides. And when we do, it actually strengthens the potential solutions we can come up with. So for instance, Van Jones wrote a great article a number of years ago in Fortune or Forbes magazine. It was all about criminal justice reform and how reducing prisoner populations was really important for fiscal responsibility. So he basically took a more conservative lens on criminal justice reform and really showed how the same goal could be looked at from different angles. And so now he's working with Newt Gingrich on something called Cut 50, and they're actually working on cutting prison populations by half. So you can do
Van Jones and Newt Gingrich are working together.
Yeah, and so the same thing can happen if you're just willing to build the personal bridges and to be able to understand the world from somebody else's views. In the book, I go into the $15 an hour minimum wage, which has become like a real rallying cry for the left right now. But the left always champions it from a standpoint of uplifting the workers. It's like down with the billionaires. It's a class warfare argument. But if you actually, in the book, I show that if you go and take it from a right-leaning perspective and you basically say, this is about reducing the size of government. It's about empowering people to be self-responsible. It's about getting companies off the dole, because when companies can hire somebody for $7 an hour and they can't actually live on that, that means that taxpayers, we are subsidizing the company's business. And that's actually goes against the whole conservative value system. So you can take the whole argument, look at it from another side, and then actually see that, oh, some increase of the minimum wage is actually going to decrease the size of government, increase self-responsibility, and a lot of goals that the right wants. But the left never thinks that way because we're busy doing warfare with the right. And there's a very practical advantage to thinking in what we call a transpartisan way, where you're starting to really think about issues from both sides. And so I try to read some from both left and right every day. Even though I'm a progressive, it helps strengthen my understanding of positions and policies and how we go to the next level.
Well, it's definitely very interesting, and your book, and good luck with the book. I think we need it in this day and age, right?
Amen.
Yeah, today we do. All right, well, for more information on Sacred America's Sacred World, just log on to sacredamerica.net. That's sacredamerica.net. And that's it for this week. We'll be back with more Bay Area Focus next week. Have a great day.